Hey guys, welcome back. Okay, so last episode we came back from the moon. We had all kinds of science. I used a couple, I think 180 of that science to unlock a couple more nodes here. I'm saving the 156, so in case I start getting some money, I can unlock this next tier because these other nodes are not quite useful for me right now. We still have an active contract for docking and transferring crew, so we're going to hit that up now, and then we're probably going to set our sights on Minmus, which is the next moon of Kerbin. Um, so in order to dock, I already put up a vessel at about 81 kilometers, and I am going to go up to that and meet it, rendezvous with it, and then we will dock, do our thing, and come home. So we're just going to use this guy. This is our familiar K1, the K1 spacecraft with the R3 rocket. I think this is the one we first went to orbit in, or at least we first went to controlled orbit in. And we are going to put Dokins in there. We're going to launch. So the whole idea here is I'm going to try to circularize as close to our target as possible. By doing that, I don't have to sit and do a bunch of orbits as I wait to try to catch up to it or slow down from it. So I'm going to launch, and the spacecraft is right about here. Our target's right in this area. I think one thing that would be good for KSC is in this map view, if we could actually click and have radial degrees show up, so we know where we are radially in comparison to the Space Center. I'm actually going to go a little bit closer because I really don't want to undercut this and screw up this video. Okay, so here we are. We're ready to go. Throttles down, engine activated. Get myself in a position to see my apoapsis. Good. And full throttle, release. So we're climbing. I'm going to fast forward just a little bit, get us away from the ground. It's about a kilometer up, and then I'm going to start a little bit of a tilt to try to negate the atmospheric effects that are trying to push us in the westerly direction. And just a little bit of a tilt, about 2 to 5 degrees. And there, we're going to climb out for a while. Get my eye on my apoapsis. And there she goes. Our target's going to fly by us here. Again, remember to keep your eye on those G's. You really want to make sure that you're not flying, those G's aren't flying way too high, because you're just wasting fuel at that point. Except for when you're in the vacuum. When you're just going through the atmosphere, you're wasting fuel. Alright, so I'm just starting a nice slow, steady turn, and we're going to start burning in the tangential direction, catching up to our target. I'm going to get us down there, though, because we are at 50 kilometers. And you can see my throttle's down to 1/3 or 30%. So it's not really throttled up much, it's not wasting a lot of fuel. Alright, so now that I am set just above the horizon, we still have some upward force. I'm just going to start timing, or warp speeding, as we let our apoapsis and our altitude climb, and hopefully meet around 70 kilometers. I may have turned a little too far, so I'm going to raise that up to about 11 degrees above the horizon. Oh, I definitely need to raise it up farther. Oh, this isn't good. I turned a little too early, so we'll see how this goes fuel-wise. I did increase my tangential velocity a little bit, so a little more than usual, so we'll see. But this little Terrier engine might not have enough, and I might not have enough fuel to get us to circularize. But have no fear, I still have RCS, which should get us there. Yeah, jeez, my apoapsis isn't even out of the atmosphere yet. That's okay. We'll still make it work. Periapsis should be showing up soon. I don't want my apoapsis to jump. I'm okay with pushing the apoapsis out of the atmosphere, and then using, there we go, and then I'll use my RCS to circularize out here. I actually still have a little bit of fuel, so we'll probably just end up doing that. Where's my periapsis? There it is. So my real-time periapsis is going down. This is my calculated periapsis. Dang. So sometimes this maneuver noting can be a little tricky. I gotta wait till I get out of the atmosphere first so I can make sure my... Oh Jesus, I'm still in the atmosphere. Wow, this is fun. Good thing I still have a little bit of fuel left to get me out of the atmosphere. So what was happening there was I turned too early and I didn't get enough horizontal velocity, vertical velocity, and which meant I didn't get high enough, and which resulted in me in staying in the atmosphere in my periapsis. I did push the apoapsis out, but that came down because of the atmospheric effect slowed me down a little bit. But now we're looking good, about 73 kilometers on my apoapsis, and it doesn't look like it's going to dip below 70. And I'm almost out of the atmosphere now over here. Looks like there's enough fuel to circularize, which is a good thing. And then we can start using our RCS from there to bring it the rest of the way. There we go. So we're only going 10 meters per second here. We are now out of the atmosphere. I'm going to fast forward using real-time warp and get ourselves in line with our target. It's only a half a second burn, so I'm just going to freehand this. Oh, it actually worked out fairly well. Like I said, the game calculates pretty well, so if you just follow this maneuver node, whoops, I went a little too far, that's okay. If you just follow the maneuver node, you'll get it. All right, so here's our send. I think this is our sending node. Yes, so this is our sending out of the plane. I am going to level us out with my remaining fuel, and then we'll go RCS from there. So I'm going to want to bring this ascending node to 0. or at least as close as we can with as much fuel as we have left. And that looks like that's it, and we are pretty darn close there. So what I'm going to do now, we have that target. I'm going to add a maneuver, an increase, and these are our intersects right there. So we want to get those two things right on top of each other. And you need to make sure your apoapsis is actually at the correct height. You can see there that our intersect is now getting to 2.6 kilometers, which is close. And now we're under a kilometer. We could probably adjust our velocity a little bit to get us closer. Our trajectory, actually, it was not even our velocity. And you can do this using the scroll wheel to make little minute changes instead of pulling on them, like you'll probably see a lot of other players do. Oh, that went too far. Now, it looks like that's as close as we're going to get right now. And I'll adjust it later after we get there. We're only doing a 6.4 meter per second change, so our RCS should be able to handle that, no problem. But first, I think we have 2 orbits to get through. And I'm going to orientate myself for docking here. Oops, I want to be this way. And I'll show you what I mean about orientation later. Alright, so we're just going to fast forward. And we're looking at this timer down here. That timer tells us, so even though we're going to cross this maneuver node, it's not time yet. We still have to wait for another just about 2 orbits. So you got us on time 100, and yeah, we're about an hour out, which equates to about 2 hour orbits because it should be about a half-hour orbit at this height. And you can actually look that up over here. This is the orbital characteristics of, this is the characteristics of Kerbin. Maybe it's in the tracking station. Anyway, you can look up the period of your orbit and everything. Okay, so we're just going to continue along. I'll be right back when we're there. Alright, so we are now in place here. We're approaching our target. I'm going to get in position to burn along that direction. Turn my RCS on. I'm just going to see how fast we're moving. Alright, we're good. So I'm going to get us a little bit closer. And I'm going to start our burn. Now I'm a little far away from the maneuver node, but that's okay. Like I said, the game calculates it for you. So as long as you hit that maneuver node, it'll figure it out for the most part, as long as you're not too far away. Okay, so our intersect is about 0.8 kilometers. That's not too bad. So what we're going to do is fast forward over to this location, and then we're going to try to cancel out our speed relative to the target. So we're in a target mode right here, and these nodes, this is the prograde direction relative to the target, and then this is the retrograde. So in the same way that when we are orbiting Kerbin, we do prograde and retrograde in reference to Kerbin, we can do the same thing in reference to our target, which I don't think I'm in the right configuration here. Okay, I am. So what that means, and you'll see me do something funky here. I'm obviously aiming away, but that's just because I know how to use my RCS. So what that means is we're going to slow down our orbit, or our speed, or we're actually going to increase our speed relative to Kerbin, but we're going to burn in a direction that brings us to the speed of our target. You can see here I'm just pulling the maneuver node up to me, and then I'm speeding along. And my goal is to bring that to 0, or as close to 0 as I can. And I done screwed up a little bit, so I'm going to back off. Okay, there we go. There, so I'm at 0. I should be about 0.8 kilometers away. Where are we? There we are, down there. Okay, so I know that the target is going to be, turn this off, I'm going to turn to the right. I know that my target is down, as long as I point directly at it. So there's my target. That's pointing at my target, and then the other node is pointing away from my target. And so now what I'm going to do is try to get my prograde speed just on the other side of that target. So I'm going to increase this direction. There's my prograde speed. I'm going to bring it down like this. Basically what I want to do is push. I want to push that pink marker to my center marker on the nav ball. And we do that by keeping that prograde marker just opposite of it. You can see now we're getting in closer and closer. And you don't want it to go too far, so I'm going to start decreasing my speed. Decreasing my vertical speed. There we go. I should probably check my fuel level. So I got plenty of monopropellant. So you can see how the prograde marker moves as you go forward in time. And so you just have to keep making sure it's still on track. I call it wrangling your prograde, or wrangling your apoapsis, or whatever. So there. So you can see we basically want to keep pushing that thing towards us. Mine's almost there, which means I'm almost on plane with my target. And basically, when I'm on plane with the target and my prograde marker is over the target marker, the pink marker, that means I'm traveling directly to my target. All right, so what I'm going to do now is orientate. Oh, okay, that's a pretty good shot. You can actually see it. I'm going to orientate this guy toward my target. And then I'm going to orientate. Oh, my target marker went above me now. So I have to change that. Bring this prograde marker up above it. So you can see now that I'm pointing directly at my target. We're on the same plane, and I have to ensure that. Slow down a little bit. Now what's important is to make sure we're pointing at each other, because you can snap together, I guess you will, at an angle. So what I'm going to do is slow down a little bit right now, turn my RCS off, try to angle this, RCS back on. I'm going to shoot to the right. So there, now we're just going to slowly drift together. You can see there that the target's coming up towards me. And we're getting ready to dock. There, we have docking. Turn RCS off because otherwise sometimes the RCS goes crazy when you do that. We have docking. We're also docked in the same orientation. So what I have to do now is I have to EVA, and I am going to transfer. Oops. I'm going to transfer crew from here. Transfer over to this one, and then I'm going to transfer, which got me the contract. I'm going to transfer Maxdis back over here. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to board. So there, that's all we had to do to complete the contract. And yeah, guys, I'm going to call that a day, and then I'll bring these guys home off camera. And next episode, we are going to start aiming for midness. We're going to go do our first flyby. I won't zoom in so you guys can see it when we get there. We'll do our first flyby, and then we will have enough science and hopefully money to unlock our R&D center, the next tier of our R&D center. Okay, guys. So thanks for watching. Have a good one.